So, ZOMGitscriss tagged basically everyone on YouTube recently to make a video about living as an atheist, answering a set of questions from supposedly some serious investigations into this issue. Yeah, sharing our experiences. So I thought I'd make a video as a response to her tag. The first question is, were you raised atheist or did you have a religious upbringing of some sort? I was raised atheist, if those are my two options. But actually, I was not raised as either. What my parents did was to basically not instruct me in anything. They would let me ask the questions myself, and then they would answer. Of course, if they were specific questions, like, you know, with specific answers, like why is the sky blue or where did babies come from, then they would answer that with as close as they could manage to the correct information, considering that I was a little girl and, you know, didn't necessarily understand all the technicalities. So specific questions would be answered with the correct scientific answers to the extent that they were aware of them. But more religious type questions, like where did the world come from? What happens when people die? Things like that. They would simply tell me that some people believe we go to heaven and some people believe nothing happens. Some people think the world was created by a god. Some people think that it evolved naturally in natural processes. And would not tell me where they stood on that unless I specifically asked, which I often did, apparently. I would say, according to my parents, I would say, okay, that's... some people think this, some people think that. What do you think, Mommy? Then they would, of course, answer honestly that they were in the camp who thought that the world evolved through natural processes, for instance. But they didn't specifically raise me to be an atheist. They raised me to have an open mind and find these things out for myself, and as a result, I became an atheist. They didn't put anything into my mind except the information that I sought out. And they brought both sides to the table. Let me figure it out on my own. And yeah, I'm an atheist. Because all children are, and unless you make them something else, that's how we stay. Second question, if raised atheist, have you ever been drawn to religion at any point in your life? Why or why not? The answer is no. I've never seen any meaning in any of it. It doesn't make sense. I've never been drawn to it because none of it makes any sense whatsoever. Overall, third question, overall, would you say that other people's belief in God is a good thing, a bad thing, or something you're indifferent about? Why? It's a bad thing. I could talk for a long time about how religion, as organized religion, is bad for society on the whole. But the question is that other people's belief in God is a bad thing, and that is because religion, it cripples the mind. Religion is basically a crutch for people who cannot deal with the fact that we don't have the answers to the bigger questions out there. And if you weren't weak before, weak-minded, then you become weak-minded through religion because it stunts your ability. It often completely cripples it, takes away the ability to think critically, to take in the information about the world around us and find things out, put those things together. It destroys the natural curiosity that everyone is born with. So I think it's a bad thing because it hinders human development through stunting the minds of the individual religious person. 3, have you ever been treated differently? So this is the fourth question, but the second was like 1B. So this is the fourth question, number 3. Have you ever been treated differently by people because you're an atheist? If yes, describe. I'm Norwegian, and in this country the norm is to be agnostic or atheist, so no, I haven't really. It's normal. I've had, of course, some experiences with people who have wanted to convert me or whatnot, but I have never been treated differently. In this country, it's the religious who stick out as kooky or weird. But I'd like to mention a little story that has happened to a friend of mine who's also an atheist. and she, a good friend of hers, married a man from Turkey that she met in Turkey, who is of course a Muslim. And he is open-minded and absolutely is not the proselytizing type and is fine with his wife being a non-Muslim and having non-Muslim friends and all that. But when he came, he's from like the Turkish countryside, so he didn't necessarily know that much about the world. And when he came, of course, he wanted to be introduced to his wife's friends and wanted to get to know them, hoping to make them his friends as well. And my atheist friend surprised him greatly by telling him that she was an atheist because she was so nice. And you can't be an atheist, he said, because atheists are horrible people who eat kittens. Because that's what he'd been taught. And, you know, let's try to bridge the gap between people of different background and groups. That's not easy if one group is being indoctrinated with the crazy irrational belief that the other group eats kittens. So, it happens, obviously, but it hasn't happened to me because I am the norm in this country, fortunately. Fifth question. If not a religious person, do you consider yourself to be a spiritual person? Why or why not? I'm not a spiritual person. I'm fine in the physical world. I guess I'm emotionally stunted. In fact, I think I am. But when I look out the window and I see the trees, the sky, the flowers, the birds, I don't need any dimension to my life beyond that. I don't need my soul, whatever. I don't even believe there is such a thing as the soul. So no, I feel like the natural world, which is astonishing and amazing and endlessly innovative and rich, it should be enough. If it's not enough, then you're struggling with something, I think. And again, I think that goes back to this idea with we don't have answers to the big questions, and some people just can't deal with that. And I think that's why they feel they need religion. And that goes to the final question. For many people, belief in God provides hope or comfort with respect to suffering in the world and to the inevitability of death. As an atheist, how do you come to terms with these things? I'm not sure I see the need to come to terms with them. I accept reality as it is. If there are things I really want to change and I think I can change them, then I try to do that in my small way. But it's just strange to me, come to terms with the inevitability of death. Like Mark Twain said, I was dead before I was born for millennia, hundreds, millions of years, and it'll be the same after I'm dead. So it didn't hurt me back then. Why should it hurt me? I don't understand the concept, the need to come to terms with reality. People suck. And that's why the world is such a shitty place. And we're all gonna die. Hopefully we'll have a good life before we do. That's where the focus should be, not coming to terms with the inevitability of death, but how you can have a good life and help others have good lives while you're actually here. And in my opinion, people should stop thinking so much about what happens when we're dead and why is there evil in the world and blah blah blah, and just focus on the here and now and try to be happy and make others happy right here and right now. So the answer is, I don't really feel a need to come to terms with it. I'm fine. It is what it is, as Ivana Trump would say. So those are my answers to the questions. I just want to tag anyone who watches this and feels like they want to share some of their own thoughts on the subject. Thank you.